Hello, I'm Bobby, and I'm bringing you the Bachmann Thunder Chief layout that my grandson and I are building. This is a new experience for me, but for my grandson, he has a lot of knowledge of trains, and he enjoys it very much, and I enjoy doing this with him. So we're building this train set here for him, mainly because he enjoys it so much, and we enjoy doing it with him. So today, I'm bringing this video because we've recently added a Bachmann motorized turntable for the HO scale, and when you buy this turntable, if you're like me, you expect to just put the turntable on the track and hook it up, and away you go. But there's a lot of things that come into play, especially with the DCC setup. It's a little more advanced than what I expected, but it is a good train set to start out with. The Thunder Chief and this turntable that we've now figured out how to do it. I just wanted to share it with you and show you step by step how to hook it up and get it running. When Bachmann sells you, or wherever you may buy it, but it is a Bachmann turntable, when you buy this turntable, it comes with two options to way to run it, and they give you the instructions here that they give with the track, or with the turntable. It shows you how to hook it up with a additional controller that you have to buy. It comes separately in a power pack to run the turntable. The way that we hooked ours up, we took the directional switch that they provided, and we hooked it up to the turntable, which, as you see here in the instructions, it shows you how to hook it up underneath here, and I'll show you that. Underneath here, there's a hook up there by my fingers there, you can see. You hook the wire up there for the power, and then to hook the track up, there's one place that you can hook it up here, and then they say it's the fourth track, which is right here, and it explains that right there. It's got it printed on there, labeled on there. So what we did, we hooked it up for a DC controller. So we hooked it up with the directional turntable switch here, spring loaded, and we ran it like that at first. Now I didn't use the additional controller or the power pack. We just ran it to our re-railer here, hooked it into our re-railer, and I just plugged these two wires in there, just enough to get power to get it running, and it ran just fine like that in the DC mode. So the other option that is provided with the turntable is to put a decoder in it. And if you're like me, you're thinking, well, what's a decoder? Well, these decoders that you can buy, and we decided to buy the Soundtrack decoder. It's a 4-functional DCC motor decoder, and you can see the part number here, that the model that we bought. And it takes a little bit of research to figure out which decoder to get, because I had no idea. And these decoders were actually set up to go in locomotives. This is an 8-pin decoder, and you can put these in locomotives, but this turntable requires one to run it with the Easy Command Control Center control here. If you're going to run it, you have to put this decoder in the turntable. So let me show you what I mean here about the decoder in the turntable. When you get this turntable, you can take this little building off, and this here is screwed in, which I've already unscrewed. And then, there is a dummy plug that they call it. In the instructions you can read, it'll show you this is a dummy plug. And this dummy plug, I've already loosened it. You just have to wiggle it out. It comes right out. They're very fragile, so you need to be very careful. And you do want to make sure that the power is off before you mess with this. You don't want to short it out. So you can take that and save that for later, as the instructions says, in case you want to go back to it. Let me set that aside there. And this is again, the Soundtracks decoder that we purchased. So you just plug this in here very gently. Might need to get my magnifying glass. very small, fragile pins that you don't want to bend. And again, one thing I noticed on this, excuse me, the decoder has a number on the board here that tells you which is the number 1 pin. But I found on the turntable that there is not a number 1 on there. And I'm not sure it really matters on this turntable, but if I'm incorrect in that, I would appreciate it if somebody could let me know. But I noticed on the control board here, there is a number 8. So I went by the number 1 on the decoder here, of the soundtrack decoder, and then I placed it according to the number 8. I went to where the number 1 went, that I felt it went. And if you line them pins up there very gently, try to wiggle them in. Don't press them until you know they're lined up, because they will bend very easily. And it slides right down in there. And I believe I got that in there. Let me look a little closer. Yeah, it looks pretty good there. Okay, so then this, you notice it's got black tape on there. This decoder comes with 2 additional wires, a brown and a green, which is for additional lighting, which is not needed in this hookup here. So you just lay that in there like it is there. Excuse me, put the cover back on, make sure I'm not going to pinch any wires. Get this cover on here. Screw these 4 screws in very quickly here. And I hope this helps, because it was a big learning curve for me, and I just want to get it running properly for my grandson. He's really been looking forward to this. He really loves this train. His favorite train is the Daylight, the 4449 that we have. We have 2 of them sitting over here. The American Freedom train, and then his favorite, the Daylight there, which we still need to work on it and get it running for him. So then you just set this back on here. You got the cover on, and then the house just clips right on there. And just like that. And then I'll turn the power on over here. Okay, now the easy command controller over here normally is addressed to number 3, just like your locomotives, but I've already changed mine to number 5 because I have my turnouts on number 3. So I just wanted them on a separate address. So I will go to number 5. And then the speed control knob is going to turn the table, the speed of the table, and then you use the direction buttons to which way you want the turntable to turn. So we're going to turn it on here. And it pauses between tracks, and it will do the same thing on the directional switch. And then we'll go the other direction real quick. And it does have a little bit of a noise, as you can hear. It's not really loud. Now I'll turn it up to full speed. And there you can see how that works. It looks like it's working pretty good for us. One thing I did learn when you hook up these turntables, hit the stop button there. The turntables, I learned one thing, that we were hooking it up and we was running the track across to the other side with our turnouts. I found out that I was doing some reversing in my current and found out that the track wasn't hooked together and it was shorting out. So if you run into that problem, that's what's going on. You can't change directions of the track, because then you got to get a digital reversing loop, which we're going to look into pretty soon. But that's another story for another time. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Sharing this with you. I hope this helps you on this Bachmann motorized turntable. Thank you for your time, and have a good day.